So today I'll be talking about my second push blog. This will be talking a bit about how you adapt to, your academic studies during coronavirus and kind of catching up with that year 12 or the year below work that you've done that didn't really stick into your head if you were doing work during lockdown. The first thing is, if you're self-isolating or if you're ill at home because the flu season's coming up, it's really important that your first priority is just to get better, because you can't do any work if you're ill. Now, don't take that as an excuse, because if you are self-isolating because you don't have corona and someone else in your family has, and you're perfectly fit and able to do your work, then you should really use that self-isolation period to catch up on the work that you've done before and just to get into the habit of studying, because you might have an exam, so you might be doing A-levels like me or in another year. But either way, it's really important to make sure that you're not using isolation as a kind of excuse to not work, because if you're not ill, you should really try to do that work to keep up, and that will help you in the long run. Going back to school hasn't been the same for any of us. It's not been like before lockdown. It has been a little bit difficult to kind of balance the current work that you're doing and work that you had in during lockdown and all this other stuff that's going on. The best thing would be to just relax and look after your mental health. Make sure that you're talking to your friends as well, because even the teachers understand it's not easy to kind of do all of this at once. And if you are struggling, then make sure you just email your teachers politely, maybe during school hours, and just ask them, I missed out on this work and I don't understand it, could you go through it with me, or can you explain it a bit? Or even ask some of your friends, they could help. But you've had 6 months of not going to school, where some of us haven't had face-to-face teaching with a teacher, even online, so you can't expect people to understand everything when they haven't been taught properly. But the next thing, if you are self-isolating, make sure that you keep into contact with online contact with your friends, and so you could ring them during lunchtime, because it will, for some of us have been at home for 2 weeks, and that's quite a hard time to just be by yourself. Making sure that you keep that routine and that schedule and try and keep up to date with your work. Obviously, if you're ill and you can't do that, that's not a problem. But if you aren't ill, just make sure that you're keeping on top of your work, because it'll be better in the long run. When you do go back to school, and if you are at school, make sure you're really taking part, because there's been 6 months of just not really talking to people as much in lessons and collaborating with people. So make sure that if you are in lessons, make sure you're trying to discuss and interact with your classmates and your teachers around you, because it will really help you get that information in your brain, which is obviously really good for exams, and also just generally learning. It's good to keep communication with other people. Also, don't worry about it too much now, because it's been hard for everyone. But if you want to revise some of the content that you've missed over lockdown, or that you're kind of struggling with, make sure that you just do it in small chunks, and just don't be too hard on yourself right now. Because I used to think, if you need to revise, you need to sit down and do it properly for an hour or something, but that's not the case. You can just flick over something for 10 minutes and it will really stick in your brain for the next time that you go over it. So don't stress yourself out too much, and prioritise just getting better, recovering, and your health as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.